Hello and good afternoon. This is Larry Tentarelli. I'm a full-time trader and the editor and publisher of the Blue Chip Daily Trend Report. And I'm here today with your daily 5 to go through 5 key charts that are on my screen that I wanted to focus for everyone. So we'll get started with Eli Lilly. And what I do with my website and for my members is I really focus on large cap stocks. So I'm looking for institutional leaders, generally stocks that are over $10 billion market cap or higher. And what I do specifically is I focus on uptrends. So I'm looking for stocks that are trading generally over rising moving averages. I'm looking for a series of higher highs and higher lows. So we'll get started with Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is obviously a market leader in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, $258 billion market cap. So Eli Lilly was my chart of the day this morning for my website members. So what I do every morning pre-market is I post a chart of the day. And it's a focus chart going into the day that I think is set up well on my time frame. And also, I post a weekly top 25 list. So Eli Lilly was on this week's top 25 list. It was today's chart of the day. And if we just take a look at the chart, there's a couple key things that I want to focus in on. So the first thing is it's trading over the rising 20-day moving average. So what that says to me is that the near-term trend in the stock is strong. And what we'll see often is the strongest uptrends will tend to hold that rising 20-day moving average. So there's a couple bullish signals that are on this chart that led me to put it on the list today. So the first thing is, obviously, it's in a near-term uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. It reclaimed the 20-day moving average in October. It reclaimed the 50-day moving average a few weeks later, and then it's had a bullish 20-day, 50-day moving average cross, and now the 50-day moving average has also started to turn higher. So we've got quite a few bullish signals. Uptrend over the 20-day, reclaimed the 50-day, the 20 days crossed the 50-day and the 100-day to the upside, and the 50-day moving average is turned up. So for my time frame, this chart is set up very well, and it looks like we could test new highs. A close over 275 in Lilly would signal a breakout to new highs, and that's my top ranked healthcare chart. So we'll take a look down to chart number 2, and we're going to take a look at Nike. And I think everybody knows Nike. They are a global leader in the consumer discretionary sector. And what I do on my website is I pay attention to all 11 S&P sectors, but I really focus on 8. So I don't do too much with utilities, REITs, and consumer staples, but the other 8 I focus on exclusively. So we'll take a look at Nike. Nike is also on this week's top 25 list, and it was yesterday's chart of the day for members. And if we take a look at the Nike chart, you'll see that it's very, very similar to the Eli Lilly chart, and I'll walk you through it. Number one, it's trading over the rising 20-day moving average, indicating a near-term strong uptrend. Same thing as Lilly. It reclaimed the 50-day moving average. The 20-day crossed the 50-day to the upside. It crossed the 100-day to the upside, and the 50-day moving average is starting to turn higher. So in reality, even though we've got a healthcare leader and we've got a retailer, a consumer discretionary leader, we're really looking at 2 very similar charts. And once again with Nike, so this is working on possibly new highs, and a close over 180 would signal a breakout to new highs there. And what I'd like to see hold in the near term, because as we know, markets can pull back at any time for any reason. They have they're supposed to announce a decision on the Federal Reserve chairperson this weekend. They might keep Powell on, or they might replace him. And that could lead, based on what the decision is, that could lead to some shorter term volatility into next week. So what I'd like to see on any pullback, 165 is the first support level. And then I'd want to see that 50-day moving average hold if there was any pullback. So we'll move down to chart number 3. And now we're going to start to move into the technology sector. So technology is a core focus for me. So Nvidia is a position that I'm holding long. I've been holding it since late April of this year. This was our members chart of the week on October 18th. So if we take a look down, October 18th is when it went on the chart of the week. Now, Nvidia's had a big breakout, and Nvidia really $800 billion market cap. It's the largest semiconductor company on the planet, and they really are a key leader in the metaverse space. And as I think we're all familiar with, metaverse has really become a very popular theme. I think over the past month or so, ever since Facebook changed their name and rebranded, and there's some terms that I think are just buzzwords, and then there's some terms that I think have some legs. And I think metaverse is going to be probably the next technological shift. I think it's here to stay. So Nvidia is a leader. They're very heavily exposed to that space, also AI, data centers, autonomous vehicles. But if we just take a look at the chart, we can see it's over 4 rising moving averages. It's holding over the 20-day. Nvidia had a big breakout. So right after Facebook announced their plans to go into the metaverse, Nvidia really emerged as a key leader because they provide a lot of the data centers. But in either case, big breakout. Nvidia consolidated before earnings. They reported earnings, and we can see it's trading up at new highs. So in the near term, on any pullbacks, I'd want to see 280 is the first level of support that I would want to see hold. And then underneath that, obviously the rising 50-day. So what I do as far as my time frame and for my position trading is I focus a lot on moving averages and trends. And what I found is that the strongest trends will hold that rising 20-day moving average. But if for some reason they break down, then what I do is I look for that 50-day to come into play. And even though Nvidia looks extended to some, after this breakout, it consolidated for a few weeks, and now it's starting to test new highs. And as we know, and as we can see from the charts, once stocks start to make new highs, there's really no telling where they can go. And we can see that with Nvidia when it started to break out back in May. So once these stocks start to break out, there's no overhead resistance. There's no buyers that are trapped overhead looking to sell. So that's a very bullish chart. So we'll move on now to chart number 4. Chart number 4 is another technology and growth leader, and we're going to take a look at Shopify. So Shopify was our members chart of the week on November 7th. So if we take a look, November 7th is right in this area. So it had a little bit of a pullback, but now it's broken out to new highs, and we'll see basically the same trend. So first thing, it's back, it's trading over the rising 20-day moving average, and we're going to see the same pattern in all of these charts that I cover, because what I try to do is I stay consistent with the process, and I want to focus on the strongest uptrends. So we can see over the rising 20-day moving average, there was a bullish 20-day, 50-day cross earlier in November. The 50-day has started to turn higher. And then from a key price perspective, so 1,600 was the key level that I wanted to see Shopify break through, because if we take a look at 1,600 on the chart, you'll see that in July, August, and September, it failed. In the beginning of July, 1,587. It tested 1,650 in the middle of July, but then it failed 1,583 and 1,588. It recently failed at 1,564 in November. So what this move over 1,600 tells me, and if you look down on the screen, you can see there was very, very high volume at the end of October. And then there was another high volume breakout last Friday. But what this tells me now over 1,600 is the same thing. Is now Shopify has moved into new high territory. We can see it's breaking out right now where it sits. On any market pullbacks, I'd want to see it hold over 1,600, but a breakout to new all-time highs is one of the most bullish chart signals there is. And now we'll go to the last chart and this is a name that everyone is familiar with. So we're going to take a look at Tesla. Tesla is a position that I'm also long in, and I've been long in Tesla since the summertime. So now Tesla, we can see it held this rising 20-day moving average all the way up, and then it really started to take off after their earnings. Now it had a sharp pullback, but what I'm looking at on the Tesla chart, and this is very important because Tesla is a leader in the EV space, autonomous vehicles. They've got great battery technology, but the key level that I want to see here is 900 to 950 was the breakout level. So if you look on the chart, it broke out middle of October, just over 950. Big new highs, it pulled back. And what I'd want to see here now is I'd like to see Tesla hold over 1,000 on a closing basis. So now this is a higher volatility chart, but over 900 to 950, I would continue to give this chart the benefit of the doubt to the upside. So that is it for my 5 charts for today's video. Once again, my name is Larry Tentarelli. You can find me on my website at bluechipdaily.com. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend. Thank you.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.